So we are here with Charles Robbins. Hello, Charles. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good today.
Awesome.
Yourself?
Well, please start. Let's just start by telling me about yourself, where you're located, how long you've been in real estate. Do you run a team?
Yep. I am a real estate agent here in the Fox Cities, which is Appleton, Wisconsin. I've been doing real estate here since 2012, and then I'm also a real estate coach as well.
That's right. And how long have you been a member of Agent Legend now?
Since sometime early last year.
Early last year. Yeah. Gosh, it's been
Yeah, somewhere in there.
yeah, it's amazing how fast the time goes. And Charles, I just want to go back to what you said in your introduction. Are you in production, buyers, sellers? You're focused on being as busy as can be?
Yes, I am a active real estate agent. I've been been practicing since 2012.
Well, I know you've got some great results, so that's why I just, want to ask when I hear your background like that. Do you have a team supporting you? Do you have other agents in transaction?
Right now, I had a team, but I kind of dismantled it and kind of went back to a solo agent temporarily.
Yeah.
I still got my licensed assistant and ISA who does prospecting and stuff like that. But yeah, I just went back to being a solo agent for now because I'm rebuilding the structure of how I wanted the team to grow. Stuff that I've learned just from being a coach and some big changes I wanted to make to build it a different way to maximize profits.
Yeah. And it's, I want to call out too, the way we met is through Jared James, and you're coaching with Jared, right? You work for his organization, and you've done some amazing things over the past year, but that's how we got introduced, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that how did you?
And I think it was because one of my, I'm trying to think, how did I first come across Agent Legend?
Yeah, how'd you hear about us in the first place, if you remember?
I think I may have came across it in a different group that I was in, and someone mentioned it as an alternative to hire Ava. And that's when I just checked it out, and I got connected with Alexandra.
Yeah.
And then she kind of went over to service, and I pretty much signed up right away.
Yeah. And so you didn't hear about us through Jared initially, or so you were part of Jared's group, but you'd heard about us from another group when you first came in. I just assumed.
That's correct.
Cool. And what was your business like prior to putting Agent Legend in place?
My business, my business has always done good. My goal is always to do between 25 to 40 transactions a year. I'm not a big in trying to do major production because I do other things. I am a property manager as well. I also do the coaching 4 or 5 hours a day. So I don't want to be extremely busy with real estate where I can't do other things.
Yeah. And so were you pretty much where you wanted to be before you started working with us and became a member?
Yes, and the biggest reason why I went to Agent Legend is I was paying an ISA a lot of money, over $40,000, and I wanted to slow the leads down because I was getting too much business, and which I didn't want. So I wanted a way to still follow up with leads, but not having me physically have to constantly do it myself. So when I heard that Agent Legend had the voicemail drops, and it wasn't just a typical, hey, we having someone text and email on your behalf, it was actually looking like it's coming more from me. That was what I wanted.
Cool. And do you remember, or you can please be totally honest with me, what were your feelings about Agent Legend prior to being a customer? Were you skeptical at all? Did you have any concerns about anything?
No, the sales team went through the process really well, and like I said, I had signed up pretty much the day I got off the sales call.
That's great. And well, what happened as a result after you joined?
I just started putting some campaigns. After the training that they provided to kind of help set the thing up. I was able to then go in there and start connecting all of my stuff to it. And I put it on campaigns right away, and I started seeing response rates that were like 30, 40, and all the way up even to 68% on some of the campaigns. And I've never had a response rate that high, even with me calling the leads directly, just because um, it's hard for someone who's doing multiple things to follow up that many times that quickly throughout that many days. So the fact that Agent Legend, the way it was set up, was doing all that for me, I was hitting these people multiple times and still be able to do my other things in the background.
Awesome. And what was the, where you said as high as 60%, do you remember what the nature of the campaign was?
It was a Zillow campaign when I was doing Zillow leads.
It was Zillow leads.
Yeah. So yeah. I think that's what ultimately sold me on it with the sales, when she was showing me results of other agents who were using it with Zillow. And because that was at the time when I was just trying Zillow out to see how it would work for me and my business. I'm not using it anymore as a lead source because I went back to just ultimately doing most of it through Facebook, which is the campaigns that I'm using right now.
Right. Yeah. Zillow actually was our first, the first lead source that we ever integrated with way back when, 4 years ago when we started. So, and it's one of the most successful too, because they're consistent about it. So that's cool to hear. What is it that you would say you like most about Agent Legend?
Well, ease of use is big, which is really nice. I mean, I'm very tech savvy, so I can get more difficult products. But for other people out there who are not tech savvy, it's a super, super easy program to use.
Can you? I'm just curious. Can you expand more on like what is it that seems especially easy to you about it?
Well, one, setting up, creating the campaigns real easy. I mean, you hit create campaign, there's a bunch of already templates in there so that they're easy to go in there and edit. To record the voicemails, it's a simple process, picking up your phone, dialing a phone number, recording it, and then it shows up in the Agent Legend as being there. Creating the text messages is easy, adding in the emojis and stuff like that. The fact that you can still bring in bomb videos into the email, it's great. You can even add a text email as long, I think it's under 10 seconds or 15 seconds, something like that.
The video text message. Yep.
So it's nice to even add that in there as well. And then to even connect your lead sources to Agent Legend is easier now than it was when I first started.
Yeah.
It was a different process, but now I can just go right into it, hit integration, put the subject, put the body, and boom, the lead starts showing up. And hey, it's an easy process.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a relatively new thing that we did, was building that new integrations feature, and it's just feedback we got from a lot of people, so we're excited about it too.
Oh, cool.
So please be honest with me, of course, Charles. What would you say about Agent Legend if you were talking to somebody else about it? Would you recommend it to them? And if so, why?
Oh, absolutely. As you know, me being a real estate coach, when I get students, number one thing they always come in and say is, I don't have proper lead follow-up. First thing I walk them through is Agent Legend and how it helps my business. And I bring them right to the service. And 90% of the time, I just share my campaigns with them. And I say, all you got to do now is just record your voicemails and you're good to go. So outside of coaching, if anybody came up to me and said, hey, what's a good service? I said, easy, Agent Legend. The biggest thing is for me, why it's because the consumer does not know they're on a campaign.
Yeah.
Right. Well, as long as you keep it short, right? If you're going to put an email that's 50 pages long, they're going to know it's a drip. So I keep everything short and sweet, like it's coming from a real person, they would expect someone's going to type that type of message.
Yeah. Yeah. You've done a great job too about, but I've always said that the best thing anyone can do is literally just be themselves. Like, send a text message the way you type a text message normally. So that way nobody suspects it's automated. And you've done an awesome job with that.
Exactly.
Well, so do you have anybody that you would say that Agent Legend is not for, or is there people, agents that you would not recommend it for?
Basically, if you're not generating leads at all, it's not a good service for you. I mean, ultimately, it's meant for people who are getting an influx of leads and need help with follow-ups. That's where the system is really going to thrive. But if you're just going to get it just to have a message go out to a past client once in a while, I don't think they should be on this type of platform. Pick up the phone, call them directly if it's a past client. You don't need a automated service to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That's helpful. I like what you said about keeping the messages short. Do you have any other just thoughts or tips on how to best use Agent Legend?
Make sure you have enough follow-ups in the campaigns. I think some people may not follow up enough. If you're going to build out a campaign to have like 6 touches over 3 days, that's just not going to be enough to convert the lead. I've seen some of my responses come from the message that was 10 to 12 to 13 out over like this, because my campaigns, I run them a 10-day period. 7 to 10 days, sorry, because on average, it takes between 7 to 10 contacts before someone responds. So you definitely want to have a decent length on your campaign spread out amongst a bunch of days, and definitely have multiple touches in a day. If you're going to do a voicemail, follow up with a text message, right? And if you're going to send a text message, follow up with an email. This way they're getting hit from different ways so they can respond based on what their love language is.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, the whole love language thing, right?
Yep, exactly. Because if they prefer to email, that's where they're going to respond. If they prefer to text, they're going to respond by text. I'll tell you right now, 99% of all of my responses, it's the return text messages. It's not even the voicemails.
Wow, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm curious, the 7 to 10 days that you mentioned that you've come across, is that kind of a sweet spot for you that you've noticed? And like and also like, if you could tell me a little bit about what do you do to round out a campaign to extend it to make it 7 to 10 days? What are some natural things?
Well, it's just the whole like, hey, I haven't heard from you yet. Just following up with you, see if there's anything I can do with you. Hey there, Charles here. I messaged you about 5 days ago. You inquired about a homes list off of Facebook. Just following up with you again to see if there's anything I can do for you and help you out throughout this process. It's just typical questions like that and responses like that. Even if it's a repeat multiple times, I'm not trying to recreate new text or stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that's true. Because these are people that engage. They came into your world for something specific. So you're just using that opportunity to remind them that you're there for them, not doing anything else in terms of like introducing a new topic or a new hook or something.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Because if you're going to try to sit there and come up with a new message over 7 days and try to make it look different every single time, it starts to get a little bit difficult, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if they inquired about a homes list off of Facebook, why not keep talking about that? Because that's the initial response that came through, right?
Yeah.
It drives me nuts when people are following up with leads and they're trying to sell them on something else that's not even related to what they inquired about initially.
That's right.
Just keep it right to what they inquired about. If it's a homes list, I'm going to keep bringing it up.
And let me ask you, because you have a really, you did something really cool and really innovative. So you like to keep your initial campaign at 7 to 10 days. I'm assuming because if someone came in as a Facebook lead for your homes list, 7 to 10 days of consistent follow-up from you is, I think you would say, probably enough to, if they really wanted it, they would have gotten back to you about it, right?
Correct. Yeah. And then the thing is too, what I like about Agent Legend, if I can't get them in over the 7 to 10 days, I let them go on the auto nurture campaign that Agent Legend provides that gives them additional touches where I just don't have to think about it. Once in a great while, someone might respond to that. It could be 6 months from now, but at least it's on something. They're getting something, so I don't have to worry about those leads. Because I'm a big believer, I'm not going to be the cat that's chasing the mouse. I'm going to be the mouse running from the cat.
Yeah. So you're
You know,
leading the
because
cat.
I don't chase leads. I want the leads to chase me. And I think that's what Agent Legend really helps provide is to get those leads to chase you. And then you work with the ones that respond instead of chasing all of these hundreds of leads, trying to filter through the 10 or 15 that you were going to get regardless.
Yeah, I like that. I don't want to be the cat chasing the mouse. I want to be the mouse. That's good. And then what do you do when, you have a really interesting approach to when you speak to somebody, like if someone responds, you speak to them, and then you came up with your own way of like funneling them into different campaigns depending on how interested they are. Yeah.
Uh,
The ABC lead.
yeah, and well, that was me. Sorry about that. That's before you made the changes to the system.
Oh, you don't do that now?
I can't now just because those ABCs things relied on them if they respond to still keep getting future messages.
I see. So do
You
you know
know,
that you can, so do you know that you can actually, if you choose you want to keep them on, once they respond, you can go into the app and click for them to continue.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. We just removed the forced keep in touch. So that way, if somebody responds, but you decide
So if they respond and it turns off, I can go back in there and click a box for it to turn back on.
and they'll pick up right where they left off before.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. Okay. So tell
So
me.
yeah, so basically the way it worked was if they were A, B, or C lead, to me, what that means is A leads are people who are very interested in buying or selling real estate now and within 30 days. That means they're super hot, ready to go. Those leads I don't put on a campaign in Agent Legend. I'm following up with them direct because that means they're ready to go. They're actively looking or on listing appointments, etc. Make
Yep.
sense?
Yep.
My B leads, those are people who are interested, but they have some things that they're working out. Maybe they're waiting for a down payment assistance program, or maybe they're waiting for their job to get a little bit longer, they need pay stubs, whatever it might be, but they're 30 to 90 days out. They're qualified, ready to go. They're just not going to be as active, meaning they're not going to be out looking at houses today, but they definitely want to be stayed in touch with. They want to see homes on the internet, etc. I'm going to put them on a campaign where they're getting a message from me every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And that message every 2 weeks is going to be something like, hey, just checking in to see where you're at in the process, see if you have any questions on any homes that on the MLS that I've been sending you. If there's any changes you want to make, definitely let us know. And I'll send a voicemail and a text, and then a voicemail and a text 2 weeks later. And then my C leads I'm only following up with them once a month because they're going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 months out. They don't need to hear from a realtor multiple times. So I'm typically just saying, hey, just wanted to reach out, see how things are going. I know when we talked, you mentioned that you're 6 months to a year away. No worries on that. Just want to see where you're at in the process to make sure you're on track. Or I might even go with, hey, just wanted to let you know what's some exciting news that is happening in the real estate market. If you're interested in getting the details, give me a return call.
That's great. And those are your B leads, right? Every 2 weeks.
C's.
Oh,
Right?
those are your C's.
Yeah, C leads too. I do it too. If you want to find out what's going on in the market, give us a call. Hey, there's some exciting new listings heading your neighborhood. If you want to know what those are, reach out. Regardless if they say they're 6, 7, 8, 9 months out, they're still going to be interested in what's going on in the market if they're truly generally serious about purchasing homes sometime in the future.
Of course. Yeah. So you have different campaigns, one for the B leads. Those are 30 to 90 days out. So you talk to somebody and you think they're a B, you'll move them into the B campaign. And then if you talk to someone and they're a C, what's the C? It's 90 days and after if they're
90 days plus anything after 90 days.
So you want to stay in touch with them, but not as frequently and over.
Not as frequently because it's the whole thing. A lot of people are like, yeah, I thought I had this exciting conversation with this lead, and then all of a sudden I got ghosted. I'll tell you why. For one, if you knew their motivation and where they're at in the real estate process, you probably wouldn't have been following up with them as much as you were doing it if you just asked the right questions, right? Someone who's a year out doesn't need a realtor calling them every 3-4 days checking in with them. That's aggressive to them. Hey, obviously this realtor didn't listen to my needs because they keep calling me. I'm not ready. Leave me alone.
Right.
But you also don't want to not keep in contact with them like other agents do, where they'll say, okay, I'll call you in 8 months. And then when 8 months comes around, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I bought a house. And they're like, oh, and then agents start saying buyers are liars. I'm like, no, they're not liars. You just never asked the right questions, right? They said I'm 12 months out. Yeah, but how do you know that suddenly they didn't get a new job that put more money in the pocket? All of a sudden, they're able to have a bigger down payment, or maybe their parent decided to give them money for a down payment, or maybe they got an inheritance. There can be so many different things that can happen that cause someone's situation to change. But because you weren't calling them throughout that process and checking in with them to see how they were doing, you lost the opportunity.
Man, that's such a great point. And your cadence for the C leads it's just softer and for a longer period of time than the 90 days.
Yeah, it's just softer for a longer period of time.
Thank you so much. That's really, really valuable. Do you have a website that you'd like to share with our audience?
I do not right now. In the process with James Coaching's coming out to their own website. It's not up and running yet. That's the one I'm switching to, so I currently don't have one at the moment.
Some way for people to get in touch with you?
Necessary for me. It hasn't hurt my business whatsoever because I use Facebook lead forms anyway to generate leads. And I just point them right to the MLS instead of a website, and it hasn't hurt me one bit.
Wow. And so if anybody wants to get in touch with you who's watching this video, is there anything you'd like to share for them to do so, or maybe about your coaching? Is it Facebook?
Yeah, if they're interested in Jared James coaching, definitely reach out. Go to jaredjamestoday.com and check it out there. Apply to become a student. Again, because we teach a lot of this stuff. We help you set up systems just like this through coaching to get you up and running with leads. Or if you just have general questions, you can always just reach out to me at charles@jaredjamestoday.com.
That's awesome. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with us, Charles. I love all the things that you've added to really innovate and leverage your time. It's really, really inspiring. I know a lot of people are going to get value out of them. And also, I know you're doing some other things that we've barely touched on about how you're generating leads and how you're converting those leads. And we're going to have another session where we're going to learn about this stuff too. And I can't wait for that. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We're going to get this video up. By the way, if you are here watching our Meet the Legend series and you want to try Agent Legend yourself to see how we can help, you can just go to our website and just pick your plan. We actually, as Charles and I are recording this video, we just launched these new packages last week. So there's a whole bunch of new options for people to choose from. So thank you again, Charles.
You're welcome. Thank you.